Okay, take two. I filmed this video a couple of days ago and I don't know where it is. It's not on my camera anymore, so here we are trying to do this again. Hi, welcome. My name is Ansu and today we're here to talk about all of the books that I read in the month of June. I know this is quite late into the game, but hello, I'm still going to talk about June because let's just do it. In the month of June, I actually ended up reading 4 books. Honestly, I really liked all 4 of them, but I was also in the middle of 4 other books, which I ended up finishing in July, or like close to finishing most of them at least. But yeah, I'm just going to talk about the books that I actually did end up reading in June, and that's pretty much it. First book I read was Ace of Spades by Faridah, Àbíké-Íyímídé, and oh my goodness. First of all, I got this as an early audio copy from NetGalley, which again, I'm super grateful for that. But this one is a mystery thriller sort of a book. It kind of follows around the plot lines of Get Out and Pretty Little Liars. It's basically inspired from those. Anyway, we have these 2 main characters, Chiamaka and Devin, who are going to this primarily white school. It is a private academy and everyone is very, very rich and very, very white. Chiamaka is the head girl. She's super smart, she works really hard, and overall she's a great role model of sorts, but she got to her position by doing certain things which are kind of horrible. And on the flip side, we have Devin, who is a very, very talented musician, and he comes from a slightly more poor town, and yeah, essentially he can barely afford going to this private academy. He also has his own secrets, which obviously he does not want them to come out at any cost. But in this case, for some reason, there's this character called Ace who is basically bringing out all of their secrets one by one. We have no idea who Ace is. We're trying to figure out who Ace is, and they're just out to get these 2 characters only, and it seems just they're targeted and nobody else, and we're trying to figure out why they're targeted, who are targeting them. Is it one person? Is it a group of people? We have no idea what is going on and we're trying to figure it out. It is honestly such an interesting book. I had a lot of fun reading it and I would highly recommend you guys to pick it up, especially that epilogue. Listen, that was so cool. I had so much fun reading this one. I would definitely recommend you guys to pick this one up. Pretty sure I give this like a 5 stars. It was really fun. Next up, I read a romance. I read People We Made on Vacation by Emily Henry. I have read one other book by Emily Henry, which is Beach Read, and I had really enjoyed that one. But I feel like I enjoyed this one a little more, to be completely honest, which is already setting the standard pretty high. In this book, we are following around Poppy and Alex, who have known each other since early college, and they have been best friends ever since. Every single year they go on this very nice vacation. Maybe it's like super expensive or not, like it doesn't really matter, but every single summer they go on vacation together. So we're following them around in 2 different timelines. In the present day, we're just seeing that Poppy and Alex are not talking to each other because it's something that happened 2 years ago. We have no idea what happened, and we're trying to figure out what happened 2 years ago for them to fall out so much. So essentially we're following these 2 characters around 2 different timelines. One is the present day, and the other is like 10 years ago how their vacation was, 9 years ago how their vacation was, 8 years ago how their vacation was, and then finally what happened 2 years ago is gonna come through, and then we're like following them around throughout the whole journey, I guess. It's so fun, it's very cute. I thought Alex was just such a nerdy character. He is a nerdy character. He's also like a teacher or something. He's like super nerdy, but he's very sweet. And Poppy is a very like carefree type of a person, and she loves her family so much, who are to another person they could be really weird, but to her they mean the world to her. And it's just so sweet how she's protective of her family and everything. It's just a very nice story. Obviously it is a romance, so you can imagine what could happen in here. Most likely these 2 characters fall in love. It's so obvious. It's not really a spoiler or anything like that over there in that front, but it's just very nice. I thought it was a very well written book and I had a lot of fun reading this. I also think I gave this a 5 stars as well. I had a lot of fun. Okay, moving on to the next one. I read A Fa Love Story by Lon Le, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the names right. I hope I am. If I'm not, please correct me down below. Anyway, this book follows around 2 main characters who are children of restaurant owners who are competing against each other. So these 2 characters are Vietnamese Americans, and they started a restaurant next to each other, and they are basically competing with each other. They hate each other for whatever reason, and nobody knows why. Like, it's such a huge rivalry. Everyone just assumes that it's the fact they have a very similar restaurant next to each other and they're just competing and that's it. We have Bao from one side and Lin from the other side. So Bao is a single child and his parents really just want him to figure out things for himself and, you know, just do what he wants to do. And they're very happy with anything that he chooses. They're really just going to support him no matter what, essentially. He's not particularly interesting or very smart either. He's just an average Joe. And even in his parents' restaurant when he's working there, he's like their 5th favorite employee. There's so many other people that the parents essentially like better than him. So he's not the ideal candidate for anything. On the flip side, we have Lin, who is like a firecracker. She's just filled with so much personality, but she kind of shells herself a lot because she's Vietnamese American, so that her Vietnamese parents are not going to be very judgmental of everything that she does. She also has a sister who is going to be an engineer or doctor or something like that. So, you know, high standards in this family as well. And anything related to being Asian or even close by that region, you know, the parents from those places have like way too much standards for you, and it does not matter what it is, you will have to be perfect. So throughout their lives, Bao and Lin are not allowed to talk to each other for any reason whatsoever because they have such competing restaurants, and that's been the case forever. Basically, they have to work together for whatever reason, and then there are sparks igniting. They're just very sweet with each other, and they're trying to figure out why this huge feud has been going on for so long. First of all, I gave this a 3 stars out of 5. I didn't really enjoy it that much. It had an interesting plotline to an extent, but I want to say that these two characters, Bao and Lin, they were so interchangeable because they had the same type of like environment, I guess. It was so very similar with each other. The only reason we could like kind of figure out who the perspective was from was when they were talking about their interests. Lin, it was essentially that she is an artist and her parents obviously do not want her to be an artist whatsoever, so they would be really mad at her for that. And on the flip side, Bao, he's just very carefree. His parents really just want him to do well in life, and that's pretty much it. Like, that's how you kind of figure out these are the perspectives we're in. And many times I kept forgetting, and their feud could have been solved ages ago if there was communication, you know? And that didn't happen, which really did not sit well with me. I was just really annoyed by both the families, but I understood where they were coming from as well. So yeah, overall, it was a decent book for sure, but it was not my favorite, unfortunately. And the last and final book I read in the month of June, this book was actually pretty interesting. So we are following around the Ween twins, who are very light-skinned black people. They are from this really, really small town where every single person is light-skinned black people. At the age of 16, the Ween twins essentially decide that they should run away because they don't want the fate of what happened to their families to happen to them as well, so they end up running away. One of the sisters is embracing her black side and she wants to be known as a black person, whereas the other is more so embracing her light-skinned side of herself. So essentially she is white passing, she's ready to do that, and Stella, the sister who is white passing, lives like that for the rest of her life, and Desiree, the other sister who embraces her black self, wants to live like that as well. So they do get separated, and Desiree is supposed to be the character who does not have any rules set for herself. She's very carefree, she's very erratic, she does everything that she wants to, and it was mainly her idea to actually leave the town. Stella had her own plans and she kind of left Desiree to fend for herself and just goes away basically. And we're following around these two sisters and how drastically different their lives are just because one is known to be a white person, the other is known to be a black person. Desiree ends up actually moving back to her hometown, which she absolutely hated in the past, with a daughter who is extremely black. Obviously, when they came into this town where everybody's light-skinned black people, everyone judges them. They call this little girl so many different names, which was absolutely cruel, but they have to live through all of that. Fast forward many years down the line, Stella has a daughter, Desiree obviously has this black daughter, and their paths kind of interconnect, and there's just no way that they can stay separated for whatever reason. And we're just following around these characters trying to figure out if they find who they are, if they find each other. You know, Stella and Desiree have not seen each other since Stella had left ages ago, and there's no sign of her or anything. So we're just assuming that she changed her name, changed her identity completely, and is living a completely different life. Yeah, their paths basically come together all the time, and they're just trying to figure out what's going to happen. Stella's life is going to get ruined if anyone knows that she's a black person living as a white person. And yeah, we're just trying to go through all that racism, and it follows around a lot of years, I think from the 1950s 50s or 60s and onwards. It's just such an interesting story. I don't think I've ever read anything similar to this, and it's more like a general fiction, I think, with a little bit of drama here and there. And I really enjoyed this book. There's definitely a lot of domestic abuse that has been talked about in this book, so keep that in your mind when you're going through with it. It's definitely a very enjoyable book, and I think I gave it a 4 stars out of 5. Alright guys, those are all the 4 books I read in the month of June. Let me know down below what were the books that you read in the month of June and what you really enjoyed. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Ansu. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified every single time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all next time with another one. Until then, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye!